My name is Lawrence Kashiwabara.
Could you spell?
Kashiwabara.
That's a long last name. And that's a Japanese origin, right?
Yes.
Yes. So, how old are you?
I just made 90.
90-year-old. It's amazing that people here in Kauai look so young. I mean, you really look like a 70 or 60. What is the secret? You drink a lot?
Get good friends.
Good friends.
Yeah.
And where were you born?
I was born in Wahiawa, Ele, Kauai.
Could you spell it?
Wahiawa is Wahiawa.
And here in
Ele is Eleele.
Eleele.
Yeah, it's on the west side of Kauai.
West side of it. And so what is your birthday?
February 23rd, 1932.
23rd?
Yes.
Same birthday as
Yes.
Bob?
That's my neighbor.
32.
Yeah.
So
But
you are 1 year younger than...
Yes.
Same birthday.
Yeah.
1 year younger,
Yeah.
but you are living close to each other.
Right across from each other.
Oh my goodness, that's great.
Yeah.
That's great. So tell me about your family background. What was your
My
parents were doing?
My parents and my parents goes back to the plantation days.
Mm-hmm.
I ended up in the plantation. So once I graduated, that's it.
So what did you do in plantation? What kind of work is it? It's
Field hand at the beginning, and I rose myself up to sugar penman, where you process sugar to make sugar. And I retired, not retired actually, but I quit my job after age 30.
Mm-hmm.
And I couldn't figure myself working to age 65 as a sugar worker, so I quit at age 30.
So you know about the sugar.
Hi.
So what school did you graduate? What high school did you graduate?
I went to Waimea High School in
Waimea?
Waimea. Yes, Waimea. It's on the west side of Kauai.
High school. When did you graduate?
1950.
So same year as Bob.
Yeah.
Did you learn anything about Korea before in the high school or anything?
None.
None. Did you know where Korea was in the map?
I have no idea.
Now you are Korean War veteran.
Yes.
What do you think about that?
Pretty proud. I get good friends, selected few. If we didn't have a Korean War Veterans Association, I don't think I'd meet my fellow friends over there. I work with Mr. Yoshishige over here, and I didn't know he was a Korean War veteran until later on that, we had, where I was working with the county, the water department, I found out later on we had quite a bit of Korean War veterans that served, during the Korean War.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, but only through the agency that I found out that, oh, this guy that was working with, he's a Korean War veteran. I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Royce told me that there were 446, right? 446 soldiers from Kauai went to Korean War.
No, wait, correction, 446 casualties were
Casualties, so much more than them.
Well,
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So tell me about how were you drafted, or
I was drafted with the local board 7, and then that
When
was,
was it?
I was drafted 1951, and I was sworn in December 1st, 1951.
Drafted.
Yes.
So you already knew that Korean War broke out, right?
Yes.
Did you know?
Yes.
So you were in the plantation and you knew that Korean War broke out.
I have more stories to tell about that.
Tell me about it.
When we first heard about that Korean War, my friends, my cousins, and my immediate family, all of them was getting drafted. They were 1 year older than me. So when the time came before they drafted me, I told them, hey, we got to do something, So one day they came over, a huge bunch of boys from Wahiawa came over and they said, let's go join the Coast Guard. Let's go join the Coast Guard. So we all went in the car and we went to Honolulu. We took the plane and went to Honolulu Pier, I don't know, Pier 3 or Pier 30 or whatever, but we wanted to join the Coast Guard and they told me, you cannot join the Coast Guard because you have anemic. You're anemic. So I told her, what is that? Well, your blood count is so and so, and out of the bunch that all went over there, most of them failed. He said, you have color blindness. He said, oh, what is that? And a lot of guys, we didn't even know what was color blindness.
Wow.
And then the other guy said, you have to get your teeth fixed. This is the Coast Guard now. You have to get and you have to get glasses. Nobody was all prepared for that. So he said, well, you guys all failed. Okay. So he said, well, why don't we just go across the street and go join the Air Force? So we all went over, and majority of them, we all passed the Air Force. And then they told me, you can go home and we'll call you as soon as the kind. So when I came home, the draft card was waiting for me. You are to report to your draft board a certain day, and you are now drafted. So that's the story. And then I was drafted.
So you were almost like mobilized to become a Korean War veteran there.
You are not a Korean War veteran, but just serve in the armed forces.
Right.
Because I was a draftee.
Did you trust that when Coast Guard telling you that you are colorblind and all these things?
Yeah. No.
Sounds like a bullshit.
Yeah. I didn't tell them, I'm colorblind. I was hoping, well, if I'm colorblind, I might be, not colorblind, but anemic, I might be 4F. Well, I don't know all those things. Huh?
So from there, you went to Schofield there to get the...
No, we all ended in the Schofield, but in a big auditorium. We had all the local boys, all from Hawaii. Was all sitting down, and then I was with that Kauai contingent of mostly Kauai boys, because, and then we was waiting, and they said, they handed out a piece of paper. It says Army, Marines, or undecided. So we look at each other and tell, you guys crazy if you're going to put Marines. We go put all Army. Okay, we all put Army. And most of us ended up in the Marines. But they gave you a choice, right?
At least they gave you a choice,
yes.
But you didn't actually have a choice.
No. So even if we put over there, we put the X after the Army, we ended up in the Marines. Especially the guys with the last name starting with K. So we had a lot of Hawaiians. Hawaiians mostly all Ks. And we had the Japanese starting with Ks.
But do you remember approximately what's the percentage of Japanese American versus so-called white American here that was drafted as a Korean War soldier?
I have no idea if any white was drafted at that time. At my time, is mostly all Japanese, Filipinos, Portuguese, and Hawaiians. No whites. None at all.
That sounds very strange, isn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah. Well, this is plantation country, Kauai. You know, this is all before in the 50s. This was we had over 8 sugar plantations here around Kauai. And
But there were certainly white Americans here too in Kauai.
I can count maybe in my class in Waimea High School, maybe only about 3 whites. That's it.
Okay. So you came and you end up joining Marine, U.S. Marine.
We didn't join. We were drafted in the Marine.
Drafted into the Marine.
Yeah.
So where did you go to get the basic training?
I went to San Diego Recruit Depot, as we call a boot camp. And then that was in 1951. And then I came out 1952, early 52. Yeah.
So then from there, where did you go?
After boot camp, they gave me 10 days of leave to come home and see your family.
Yeah.
And then after seeing my family, I went back, and then I reported to my company, and I asked this sergeant over there, I have this piece of paper, and I'm supposed to report to certain place, and he looked at the paper, he told me, you belong 10th Camp 3.5. 10th Camp 3.5, be there 0700, because we're going to take you to 10th Camp 3.5. So the next morning, I jumped on a truck and I went to 10th Camp 3.5, not knowing that I wasn't supposed to be there, but my papers say that the sergeant told me you belong to 10th Camp 3.5, so that's where I ended up.
What does he mean by 10 Camp 3.5?
That's advanced training for shipping overseas. So my military occupational special MOS was at that time was a supply.
Supply?
Yeah. After 2 weeks or so, I found out that, I didn't get any pay and I didn't get anything to keep myself healthy. So I had to ask them for toothpaste, shaving cream and all, because I was running out already. And they told me, we give you $10 for health and what do you call it? Health and something anyway. So that's all they gave me. But then later on, they found out that the company that I was supposed to go to in the main Camp Pendleton, they told me, you are at the wrong place. But I told them, well, the sergeant told me to go to 10th Camp. At that time, when a sergeant tells you you belong there, you're going to listen to what he says, because he knows better than me about the service. So when they sent me back to where I was supposed to go, later on I found out that a company that I was with was a lying company. There at that time was a General. I heard of, maybe you heard of him, General Chesty Puller.
Oh yeah, Chesty Puller.
Yeah,
very famous.
Yeah, he had 5 Navy Crosses, but no Medal of Honor. He was one on the hill, supervising. We had just like a bivouac, So they told this Mexican sergeant told me that I want you to dig this foxhole for you and I, deep enough for he and I to stay inside. So once he told me that, he left already. So I ended up digging the foxhole, deep enough.
Where?
Out in the boondocks, Camp Pendleton.
Camp Pendleton.
Yeah.
So you still were in the United States?
Oh yeah, that's it now, Oceanside, California.
Yeah, Camp Pendleton.
Camp, it's a huge Marine camp, Marine Corps camp. After digging the foxhole, this is the funny part now. I'm not but I know there's rattlesnake, lots of rattlesnake in Camp Pendleton. So I was thinking, gee, if I dig myself on hole and then a rattlesnake happened to fall in the hole. How am I going to get out? You know, I got to think of ways. So I started digging on the side to put my feet inside and get myself out, you know. But in the meantime, this, what do you call that now? The small little animal that stays in the ground.
Yeah.
He had his own thoughts. In the night when I was sleeping, I put that light, you know, that thing for burn.
Yeah.
So in the night, what do you call that stuff now? He was throwing dirt on my face. So thinking that somebody's fooling around with me, I stood up and I swear at them, you know, hey, stop fooling around. I'm trying to sleep. I go back again, and that thing,
Again.
what do they call that? Gopher.
Gopher, yes.
Gopher.
Yeah.
And I was telling them, oh, I had one gopher. I told them one gopher, and they laugh. It's gopher. Okay, it's a gopher then, you know. But the gopher is the one that was splashing all that dirt on me. Yeah, and thank goodness there was no rattlesnake.
No rattlesnake. Okay. So when did you leave for Korea from there?
I was in the office. I was the office pinky. Instead of going to supply, they found out that I knew how to type.
Yeah.
So they need a typist. So once I sat there, I worked with the first sergeant.
Mm-hmm.
And then they call it just like an office pinky, you know, you're an office pinky.
Yeah.
So I used to type all that. And once the paper came out that they are looking for men with the MOS of 3,000 for a duty beyond the seas. That's all they say, duty beyond the seas. It could be anywhere. Well, if you end up in Japan, you're lucky. But you might, for that matter, you might end in Korea too. I thought, well, all my friends all in Korea, so I might as well sign up. And I signed up. And I ended up in the air wing. Are you aviation?
Yeah.
The Marine Air Wing, with the first Marine aircraft wing in Korea.
Mm.
That's where I ended up.
Where?
Pohang.
Pohang.
Yeah. It's a K3. It's
K3, yes. And when did you landed in Korea? 1953?
52.
52?
Yeah.
Around when?
Oh, maybe March. Maybe about June.
June.
Yeah. It was hot already that time.
So you landed in Busan or Pohang?
No, they flew us over from Japan.
From Japan to Pohang directly?
Yeah, directly.
Uh-huh. Tell me about Pohang you saw. How was it at the time?
Duty station, we couldn't go. Being that this is a Marine base, don't you dare go out because they're gonna shoot you. Mm-hmm. Also, when you see one Oriental like me, and they're very trigger happy, you know, and they can. I don't know ways I'm going out. So I never did go out. I don't know even what the countryside looks. All I can see is hills, bare hills, maybe with one tree, and that's about all.
So you never get out of the base?
No.
Not at all?
None.
When did you leave Korea?
Was a 53.
53. So you never been to any part of Korea?
No.
No. So what did you do there then?
I was, they call that shipping and receiving clerk.
So you did supply there?
It's not actually, no, it wasn't a supply, you know, it's where all the materials come in for the aircraft. If the aircraft needs a wing or a small thing or personnel, comes all through our place. So I was the one that used to handle all the cargo, what do you call that?
Cargo. Mm-hmm.
When the cargo plane came in, and before they left, I made out all the cargo for them to take to further up north.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What was your rank at the time?
PFC, and then finally after 1 year, I made corporal.
Corporal. And do you remember your unit? First Marine?
Yeah, it's a first Marine Air Wing.
Air Wing.
Yeah. And what they call MWSS-1.
What does that mean?
Marine Wing Service Squadron. But they used to call that Marine Wing Suicide Squadron.
Any dangerous moment that you might have been killed there?
The first night when I went to the barracks, not the barracks, but before they assigned me to where I was supposed to go, they told me, you better watch out, get your ammo, your rifle and everything that kind, because the night before they had a skirmish right outside our barracks, so our housing place. So you better watch out. So
that was 1952, and still there were skirmish there?
Yeah, but the fighting was up north already.
Right.
But this is what they're telling me now, And so I slept with my M1, getting ready with only thing is my safety on. But I was fully loaded. The next morning they said, "Did you sleep well?" I said, well, and they had a good laugh. They thought it was funny that I was sleeping like that, But it was rough, and for I was only 19, 20 years old.
Mm-hmm. Have you been back to Korea then?
I went to the revisit program 1997.
1997. So
I went with two veterans from Kauai, and one of them served up the front, and his name was Nonaka. He passed away already. But he remember crossing the Yellow River, and he remember only one bridge crossing. They had to cross the river with...
You mean in the Han River?
Yeah.
Han River, not Yellow.
Yeah, Han River. And he was telling me the only way they could cross was something like, that Sears aluminum boat. Then that's what he was telling me. And then, so when we went to the revisit, there were so many bridges crossing, and he said, he was telling me now, because I couldn't compare anything. I didn't see for myself, but he told me that he never seen so many bridges after he came back. He said, well, and he said, look at all the development. He said, yeah, terrific. He said, you don't realize how much improvement they had since I left Korea. That's what he told me.
Do you know the rank of Korean economy right now in the world?
Oh, maybe about 3 or 4. third of...
Number 10.
No.
10th largest economy in the world. And 10.
I thought it was close to the top.
No, it's getting there, but top US, China, Japan, Germany, and so on. Now Korea is 10th largest economy in the world. Had you ever imagined that Korea would become like this today when you left Korea in 1953?
No.
No? Why not?
Well, at the first time I was thinking, thank goodness I'm getting out of here. It's too hot. It's too cold. It's cold when it comes cold. It's not as cold as the north, but it's cold enough for me.
Pohang is pretty cold there because of the wind.
Yeah. It comes from the ocean.
Yeah.
The water pipe, 2-inch water pipe that somebody forgot to leave it open, closed it. So the next morning we went there to brush our teeth. That thing was frozen. We couldn't even open that thing already.
Right.
So we had to go to the mess hall to bring back a bucket of water so everybody can brush their teeth.
Lawrence, you know that Korean War has been known as Forgotten War, right? Why is it? Do you have any idea?
I have no idea why.
Why?
I have no idea why.
But certainly you were there, right? And many people from Kauai were there too. 446 soldiers from Kauai being killed, right?
No.
Well, yes. So,
That was from Hawaii.
total Hawaii. Okay, so let me fix that. 446 soldiers killed who went to Korea from Hawaii all. Okay. It's been already 72 years since the breakout of the Korean War in 1950. And still, this war is there. Still technically at war we are. So, what would you say to the people? What would you say? What about how can we end this war?
Fighting is not the answer. You have to negotiate. It's only way. I know at the UN, Panmunjom, when they were for weeks and before I left already, they said, "Oh, pretty soon the negotiations now, so we should be going home pretty soon." But it doesn't work like that, I remember after I got out from the service that even this admiral that was at the Panmunjom representing the UN, he walked out already because he was so disgusted. So they're not in good faith, So that's a kind of war. All the time is pretty soon we're going home. Pretty soon we're going home, but never did come until the armistice. I left after the probably about the first one after the armistice was signed. That we had a chance to come home.
What about, let's first declare the end of the war, okay, and then we let all the governments and working on so that they can replace the armistice with the peace treaty. Would you say yes to the declaration of the end of the war? Would you say that? Why would you say that?
I don't know, because they have too many people involved, like Russia, and now it's China. So I don't think we'll ever get in Korea. I hate to say it, but I don't think it's going to be hard. I know Sigmund Rhee wanted to take over all of Korea, but the Chinese and the Russians had different ideas. Because actually the North and South was after the World War II, they separated, which was they gave up too many lands to Russia. To me, this is later on, when I started reading the books and all that. Then I found out that the Russians are really involved. Stalin at that time, and then. Well.
But if there is a petition asking you to sign to replace the armistice with the end of war declaration, would you sign for that?
As it is right now?
Yeah.
North and South?
North and South, the end of the war. Just declare.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah. It's been my pleasure to talking to you and hearing from you so that we can keep the legacy of the Korean War and Korean War veterans. It's great to meet you, sir, and thank you for coming again, and thank you for fighting for Korean people.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.